Hello. Okay, where am I looking? Over here where the camera is. Let me get rid of all the extra things that have my face on them for a minute. Go to there. Okay. Hi. I am probably ready to go. So, let's go over some quick reminders. So I am building a job tracking app because I'm looking for work. So, if you know anyone, let me know. I started this because I was getting fed up with dealing with Google Sheets and Google Docs for putting things all over the place and not being able to find them again. And it's going quite well, actually. I've had a lot of support from the stream, a lot of help from people, which has been absolutely fantastic. So let's keep going. Hi, Vincent. Hi, 891. It's really good to see you guys. So yes, the chat is on. Hi, Dreamy. Really nice to see you too. So let me go over what I've got planned for today. So the first thing is, so the reminder is actually, I'm making this app. It is for people to track jobs, which means that I will be giving it away for free, but I do plan on monetizing it in other ways. So if you are supporting with ideas and stuff, I want you to know that, so you're not feeling like tricked into helping Daniel make money. But let's go to this button. There we go. So the plan for today, before we jump into the I keep wanting to say Tailspire, which is another app I use all of the time, but Tailwind. Before we get into that, I can, if people are curious, show the solution to the problems I was facing in the last stream with my fairly complex general store, which was allowing us to use a store to store anything and recall anything without being specific about what we are doing, and how I got around the problems with that. I do want to mention some bugs that I found entirely coincidentally. I was mucking around on my Windows machine earlier and found that it would not work, and the reason was, let's go into that first actually. Let's just start with that. So, not that one, this one. So I realized that the way that we were doing the logging was we were creating a file that was a JSON file that was formatted by the date formatting, and Windows did not like that for a file format. So I decided that the best thing to do would actually just be to go to creating an individual log file. The slight downside to this is now that we have a directory called log with a file called log.log in it. The benefit, though, for everyone is that before, regardless of when anything was actually logged out, excuse me 1 second. Regardless of whether anything was logged out, we ended up with a new file being created every time you opened up the application, which doesn't really scale. File systems get a bit funny when you start having, when you hit sort of 65,000-ish files, people who know will know, then file systems start getting really upset. And because we were generating a new file regardless of whether we were writing to it, I thought that was probably not the right thing to do. So I changed this. Then I had a problem with the fact that file create will delete the file if it's already there and give you an empty file. So I changed from file create to open options with create here will only create the file if it doesn't already exist, and append is interesting because it allows you to write to the end of a file without locking the whole file. We don't really need that, but that is what we're going to be doing with this file, so there's no reason not to do that. And the other issue that I noticed was in the storage directory, I had accidentally copied and pasted, basically. I think if I go up, you'll see I'd copied and pasted this when we moved the directories bit out. So the project directory is where we store all our files, and then I'd created two functions to get the one for logs and the one for storage, but this is obviously copy pasta. So changing it back to storage fixed that as a problem. So that's that. Would people like to see the changes to the end of the last stream? I will warn you that the PR for the end of the last stream ended up being 3,400 additions and 3,800 deletions. Not that I'm going to show all of that off, but there is some really cool stuff in it. You know what? I'm going for it. It's my stream. I get to do what I like. So one of the cool things, one of the things I was having problems with at the end of the last stream was essentially dealing with the fact that I wanted this sort of has future store 4 to, if I remember rightly, I was trying to get like a general store and a thread safe general store, and I wanted them to abide by the same sort of logic that they would be able to return a store for you. But with the general store, it was going to return a reference to a store. And with the thread safe one, it was having to return a mutex guard. So the reference and the mutex guard, they did not get along. So I ended up just deleting the general store. I wasn't using it for anything, except that the thread store wrapped it. So rather than wrapping a general store entirely, I just made it so that this became the general store. So now there's really just one. There is this as well, which basically returns, this isn't its own type. The JSON thread safe general store is not a different version of the thread safe general store. It is a thread safe general store, but with all of the bits filled in for the different individual stores that go into it. Another cool thing that's worth mentioning is I got really heavily into using macros in this, which I have not really used very much before, but this saves a ton of time. So for example, you can see here that I've got this test recall by ID. Then I'm giving it a thread safe general store and telling it what I would like to test. And if I go into the macro definition, it's a little bit scary looking, but don't panic. This just creates a test called test recall by ID underscore whatever the storage option was with whatever the storable option was as text. And then I created some utility classes so that I could create some things inside of test. So as long as it has this new test trait on it, then I can create these things and just use them all over the place, which meant I could write a ton of tests with very little actual I won't have to repeat all of that boilerplate, which is why there's so many deletions in this one, I think, because previously I did have repeated tests over and over and over again. Although in the previous version, I had a single function for each sort of thing that was being tested, or sorry, each functionality that was tested. Hi, TL Levy, I am building a job tracker to track job applications. So I had lots of different storage things that you could put into lots of ways to store things. So one for in memory, one for storing JSON files. I'd also experimented with RocksDB and libsql, although those have now gone because they just weren't actually particularly useful over just storing JSON files. And I had basically written effectively like this, and then I would pass in the things that I wanted to test. But it ended up being a lot of stuff. So I used macro rules instead to create some macros for it. So that's that. And that all works nicely now. So if we were to go into, say, the UI and say, I think role lists, populated role list might have one. So in here, we can see, for example, that I have my store type here, which by the way is it's a JSON thread safe general store. I can just call recall by company ID, but what's quite fun is if I go into the flag list and go to populated flag list here, this is identical. You can see I've still got recall by ID, but it knows in this case I'm after a flag, and in the other case, oops, I'm after a role. And it's doing that just by getting signaled, let's see, it'll be something really stupid, because I don't think I have been explicit about it needing to be that. It's almost certainly that I'm passing it through somewhere. But it can infer the type, which means that the code is now extremely simple. Wow. It's easy to use. I don't know. Simple might be the wrong word. I worry about saying things are simple when they might not be. Here is this, look, role list item takes a role. So it knows that the vector that it's working over, the iterator that's working over must contain roles, which means the vector must contain roles, which means that this thing has to return roles. That's very nice. I like that. Anyway, what else were we going to talk about? So I have done that. I have shown you that. Oh yeah, I also set up Dependabot on the repository because I noticed there were a few things that I'd missed where there were... I'll get to it. Dependabot was quite nice. It was quite an easy to set up thing. I think I just added, let's go closed, create dependabot.yaml. it actually did this. When I said I wanted to add it, it did it for me. The only thing I had to change was tell it what the package ecosystem was. And since then, it's just been creating PRs for me to deal with any potential older packages or anything that has got a security issue with it, which there were 4 security issues on here. Oh, look, there's still 2. I'm not going to do these now. Or are there? Dependabot. Oh, these ones I'm probably going to ignore because they are more challenging to fix and not as useful to fix. So I might leave those, but I'll come back to them and do a proper review on my own time. Okay. Now, oopsie. Oops. Back. Onto the actual Tailwind stuff to make 891 happy. So I have already started on it. So I obviously wanted to make sure it was going to work before getting into the stream. I didn't want to faff around for ages at the beginning of the stream if it wasn't going to work. So we'll talk through the actual setup. Dioxys has a guide on the website. Obviously start with installing Dioxys, then install the Tailwind CLI, which you can find on the Tailwind website here. So this does mean we're bringing in npm. Hi, Bonjian. 891 says that's the entire point of this, right? To make me happy. Yes, I do like making you happy. It is something that I have avoided. I mean, not making 891 happy, but using Tailwind is something that I've avoided up to now, and it is something that I ought to learn because it is used in quite a lot of places. So as much as I have joked about people bullying me into it, I also kind of knew that at some point I'd have to deal with it. Anyway, we have installed it. Downside, it uses Node. So we now have a package.json, package.lock.json. We have a Node modules file. That make a directory. That makes me sad. And, but never mind. It's here now. Then continuing on with the Dioxys setup. Now, Dioxys is a little bit odd because it's not something that Tailwind is specifically designed to deal with. So the first thing we have to do is in our, the way that it sort of works is we give it an input CSS, but that, to my understanding, just sort of tells it how to, like where stuff is coming from. And in here, we need to tell it that, yes, you're allowed to read Rust files. Oh, have I messed this up? That could be interesting. Let's have a look. Because we don't actually have, so I think that this could be a possibility. Let's think. It might actually be that. So I'll come on to why I think I might have made a mess here in a second. The weird thing is it is working. It is working. We'll have a look at this in a minute. So this will tell it that we want to be able to get the class names, or it needs to be able to read these files in order to understand how it's building. So Tailwind, to my understanding, looks at the classes that, or it has basically a bunch of utility classes that you can bring in to like apply to your projects, your elements. And the way that in order to not make the CSS massive, it will try and work out what you're actually using and only put those things in. So it needs to be able to read your files in order to know what you've tried to use in order to build a CSS file that will work for it. We need an output file. So here it's got assets tailwind.css. I have a bit of a problem with this because I don't like storing generated files. And I was having a lot of problems with IntelliJ basically being like, this file is a mess, which it is because it's a generated file. So I gave it additionally a folder of generated before putting it in. And in here, we've just changed that sort of import in Dioxys to have the generated bit as well. So that's that. And then now this is where I have run into problems. Hello, Gregor. So in order for it to work in your IDE, you have to configure it. And again, there are some slight differences for Rust, including the fact that it's not HTML. So Dioxys is not HTML. Obviously, there are more HTML-looking Rust web frameworks, but this one is not one of them. So we have class : rather than like class equals for our classes. So we need to tell it that that's the case in order for the editor to know that that's what it sort of needs to look at. And we also need to tell it that we're using Rust. Not really sure what that does exactly in terms of Tailwind, but that's what I've been told. So if I go to home, which is here, I have added this grid cols 2, and that works. But what's missing is, in theory, when I mouse over it, it should tell me what it's doing. It should also autocomplete. So if I were to delete these, it should tell me that there is like a grid something something here. And that's what that setup is for. So I've got my Rust in here. I've got my experimental class regex in here, but it's not working. However, whoops, I don't think that was good. Okay, didn't save, cool. However, in here, it's absolutely fine with, so if I mouse over, we can see that grid cols 2 applies this, this class applies the template columns onto it. It seems fine over here. So we might be working in VS Code today, which means that you guys are probably gonna have to cope with me not knowing VS Code as well as I know IntelliJ. Unless anyone has done this in IntelliJ, in which case I would love your input on how to make this work properly. But let's not worry too much. So those are the problems. So the problems, just to reiterate, is this doesn't quite work in IntelliJ correctly. Not sure why. And in the generated file is a lot, which is quite funny given that one of the selling points of this is that it's supposed to reduce your CSS, and I literally have applied 2 classes and this is what I got for that. I think that it will reduce the CSS once I have more stuff in it. This is actually quite useful to look at for other reasons, actually. So we have this sort of like, we'll come on to this, but this is how we're going to get around some problems with this like layer-based stuff. But we won't be touching this file at all because that file is generated. We will probably be playing with this. Is it this file? Might have to work it out. I think it's this file. Let's have a look. At layer. H1, apply, and then I think it's font size. So this bit's fine. Maybe it's not font size. And this is going to be the general. This is going to be the which bit hurt you, 891. The general problem is going to be me not knowing anything. So we will probably be doing a lot of font size. It is font size. Oh, okay, text. Text, let's say X3. Or 3X. No, that wasn't right? Maybe. So if I mouse over this one, does it work? It does work. So this is what I was expecting inside of Dioxys. It tells us the approximate size here as well, which I think is, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see where I'm pointing, and if I move my mouse, then the thing disappears. Font size here gives us a comment that tells us the approximate number of pixels that it's going to be, which is nice. If let's start up the app, I'm going to need to start it up, I need to use npx. This is the sort of the format of this. It takes, we're calling npx Tailwind CLI. We've got our input CSS and we've got our output, which is in our generated thing. So if I go look at generated now, we should get that in here somewhere probably. So yeah, here. So this is what's been added for us, and you can see that I've currently got this committed, which I'm not happy about, but that at least tells us that that bit changed, so that's good. Let me just double check the stream settings for a second. It does say low latency. Sorry, I don't know if I'm missing people's chats. Let me know if I'm not seeing or hearing you. How would you do that? Doesn't matter. I don't know. Overthinking things. So I have been thinking about how I want to lay out the application. Actually, sorry, I haven't started the application. I'm pretty sure I've got an H1 in here somewhere, right? Maybe I don't. What is... None of this stuff, maybe. Maybe is it in roles? No. Okay, so I don't think I'm using H1s, which is interesting. I'm sure it's fine. So the general layout at the moment is we have effectively... It's now very hard to see because Tailwind has done its thing. So we have text boxes that are now black on black, which is going to be a little bit hard. You can sort of type in and stuff. There is another one here to add new companies. This one adds new roles, and then we've got one here that adds flags. Over here, we can edit our role description and stuff. Obviously, you have to be selecting a role before that works. And not sure why that's disappeared. Maybe, yeah, it's complex. Sorry, I've made it complex by using Tailwind and it having taken out my existing styles, which weren't really anything. It's done a nice sort of reset, which is good. I'm just going to have to work through and make it pretty again. So we have one column which contains sort of the selections at the moment, and then another column that contains the role. So we've got the role description over here and a field that allows you to edit it. And the field allows you to edit it with, with Markdown, which is quite nice. But the layout I want to go for is roughly this. Ignore the stuff on the right at the moment. It's sort of this bit. I'd maybe zoom in a little bit. I'm not sure how it currently looks for people. So instead of having everything down on the left-hand column, I think the way I'm going to have it is companies and roles will be on the left. Then when you select a company, you'll get the company details tab here, but not these three. And you'll be able to see the sort of the company details underneath. When you select a role, you'll still be on this, but then these three options will appear. So you'll have the role details, interview details, and questions. We obviously have not touched the interview details and questions in storage yet. That'll come later. There's other stuff in here that's not quite done. But in company details, we'll add values and flags so that you can see the bit that's currently on the left-hand side here at the bottom. Sorry, where are we? Dun, dun. Values we haven't done yet either, so that's fine. It's just be flags for now. Then if you were to select a role, you would get the sort of the job description, which you're sort of expected to put in. Any additional general notes? I'm not sure if I'm going to have a separate field for this or if you just write it in under the job description, somewhere just to sort of like keep general notes that you want to have to hand. We'll have in the future, we'll have a status of your progression. So have you applied? Are you currently interviewing? Has it completed? And if it has completed, what was the reason? Did you get an offer? Did you accept the offer? Or were you just rejected? Interview details will give you, again, this will be a sort of a dynamically generated list of tabs listing each interview. And then we don't have this in storage at the moment, but this is roughly what I want this to be, with these bits replacing out the company details as you click the sort of the top bits here. So that's where I want to get to roughly today. Okay, so I do not think, hang on a minute, I think I changed these around. XDP, right. So next, I think we want to move on to using the structure and using utility classes to get this started. Now, one thing that I know a lot of people don't like, and I certainly didn't, about Tailwind, is you end up in this sort of crazy situation with, let's see if we can find an example. Like this is, in my opinion, just terrible. Like this is terrible. I don't even know what to say about it. I don't know what sort of monster would do this to themselves, where we have all of these utility classes just listed one after the other. But there is a way around that. it's the point, says 891. There is a way around this, which is that you can create your own classes and apply the utility classes to those, which means that if you've got reusable components, you can sort of just describe what they do. This would allow you to sort of like jump in, make the changes you need to an overall component, and should make some of the problems go away. So my main two concerns that I had coming into this was that I was worried that I'd have to create new components for the basic items like H1s and apply classes to them for things that I wanted. Don't need to do that. We can do what I showed off a moment ago. Just close that again. We can apply. Oh, that's not even correct. Huh. It was okay with me doing that. It should be this. So we can create a base layer. We can apply H1. We can apply. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Let's. Hot reloaded. Did it? Oh, I had to reopen it. Did I close it? Maybe we still don't have any H1s. I thought I had one. Oh, there we go. So that's an H1 there. So that should allow us to uniformly. The idea, sorry, 891 says the idea is to put the ugliness in line with the component instead of wrapping them in classes. You have a single set of semantics to maintain. So no card business if something and card something else. I mean, I get it. I just don't think it's a good idea. And the reason for that is that it's the exact same reason why I kind of went off CSS and JS as well, which is that you end up with extremely bespoke sort of huge lists of CSS within the component. There are some other issues that I might have. I'm not sure yet. So long-term maintainability goes up with the trade-off for some slight ugly markup. So I will say it's not the ugliness that bothers me. It's the if I come back to this, I have to deal with finding all the bits in that. I know there are ways of like tidying it up, but for a element that for a component here that has 5 elements in it, this is a lot to deal with. And really that sort of notification here, I mean, that I get that, one of the things that people complain about with CSS is naming things are hard, but that's a notification. We don't need to think too hard about that. And this application's not going to be very complicated. So I'd rather move the CSS away from the code just to have it sort of separated out. But that's my personal feeling on it. But that said, as we start out, that's not what I want to do. As we start out, what I want to do is put the utility classes in so that I can see what's actually happening almost immediately. And then later on, I can take it out and move it away from the classes. It sort of gets a bit too cluttered to deal with. Maybe. I mean, we can see how we get on. But the other thing that's bothered me is, as I've been learning over the last few days how to do this, is that every tutorial, yeah, I think that's it. Vincent says, so it's a deal with it thing. I think the other thing that has me concerned in a sort of a very general sense is that all of the tutorials that I've been watching, people have ignored the C of CSS, which makes me a little bit concerned, but we'll see how we get on. I know that you have like groupings and peers, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, so I think going back to let's move these around a little bit. I don't need that every single time. I think that if we go to here, we do have some obvious shapes. Now, the question is, do I want this to be a grid or do I want it to be flex? And the reason I'm wondering is that Tailwind does the sensible thing of being mobile first. What I'm building at the moment is not a mobile application, but I think in the long term, it probably will have a mobile application version. So I'm thinking that, this makes sense as like a, 2 parts. We've got the sort of, and going back to naming things is hard. We have like one blob around here that's called something, and then another blob around here that's something else. Oh dear, doesn't matter. I think you understand. So let's see. Oh, well, I've already called it left home in this one, but that's roughly what I want. So I think in here, we probably want to do, there's definitely going to be some reorganization because we don't have this laid out in quite the same way at the moment. So I think, for example, we're going to need a company details component that we don't have right now. So I think I'll probably just start by making one. Go up here and stick it in here. Oh yeah, I might have to switch back and forth between VS Code and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Grid's still a bit dodgy, as I mentioned when I think I talked about on stream, having to fix theosquest.com because the grid layout of the 4 community buttons or whatever they were at the bottom of the page only worked on some browsers. And as far as I could tell, I was doing it correctly. Yeah, there's I have seen the sort of the fold. Ardelian, is that? Let me know if I've gotten close to pronouncing your name right there. Mentions that if you don't like seeing Tailwind classes, you can also use the extension called Tailwind Fold. WebStorm has it as well, but it's a $1 sub. I do not like subs. I don't mind paying people for their stuff, but Razvan, okay, thank you. Or Raz, okay. Whichever you prefer. Anyway, let's go into this. We would like to create a new component, so we will need a Dioxys prelude. And component. This is going to be our company details page. So in this, we're going to be, that's not at all how we do functions, Daniel. In this, we're going to want our flags. So we're going to be moving the flags in here. So we might as well, we'll start off with just like the flag list. I think that should be okay. The way that we're managing state in here is, well, okay. Populated flags list. Yeah, so inside the populated flags list, for example, we will be using this. Actually, this will change quite a lot. So, sorry, going back to the structure of the program again. Might have to rebuild. As you can see at the moment, we have flag selector company to see flags because you haven't selected a company, so there's nothing to show. And then it will show the flags here once you do that. But we don't need to do that anymore. We only need the populated flags list. The reason being is you're not going to show the company details unless you are showing the company. Sorry, just thinking out loud while I'm doing this, another thing that is probably worth considering is that I have been thinking about moving to arcs to store the current company and role. So you select a company and you select a role, and there's the sort of the two sort of base bits of data. Let me just go back to storage so I can show this as well. Probably won't go too deep into this since this isn't what we're concentrating on today, but we have the company context, we have got the ID of the company and the role stored in an option. I don't think we need to do this. I think what might be better is using arcs, and the reason that it might be better to use arcs is because, sorry, these are atomic reference counts, is to allow them to be shared through Dioxys components more easily. So a big problem that I've been having is that every time I need to send a object to a Dioxys component child, then I need to clone it, which requires accessing more heap memory, which is not ideal. But if I switch to using an arc instead, when it gets cloned, it won't request more memory, so it'll be a lot faster. It will just change the reference count. It needs to be an arc because Dioxys works cross threads. Do I not get populated flags? Maybe I don't. Okay, fine. We'll just go with flag list for now. We can solve that later. We will still need the company ID, I think. Maybe we don't. I'm pretty sure we do, though. Yep, company ID. It's because it's optional. That's not there at the moment, but we will have it. Company ID, company ID, company, nope, sorry, it's UID. And let's have let's go with an H1 here. Start off with this. And we'll think about, we will start with putting the classes on this bit in a minute. So, need to bring that in as well. If I were to move to, try and work this out. Structurally, I think this, okay, here we go. So this will not be, that is going to be, yeah, I think we're good here. So this should be company details now. That's apparently not shared. Wonder, oh, because I didn't make it public. There we go. And we can take the flag list out of here. Company details, company ID. It's an option. So, okay, so if we only want to do something here if this is set. So if it's not set, we could have, let's see. First of all, let's make it an option. Oops. And if let's company ID equals company ID. So this will just sort of unwrap the option in this position for us. And we will else company details, and we'll just put a P select company. Select do add or select a company to see their details. Okay, we need to rebuild. IntelliJ's been a bit quick on the saving. Let's see, Capture Panic. This is my most frustrating thing about using Doxis, is that the error messages are insane. It should say near the top. Job tracker views home, home. So we're trying to convert a captured error. That's not the problem. So a lot of the time when I was having this issue, it was actually down to, okay, I don't know what that was about. So if I select new company, we should get our flags now over here, which is great. If I reopen that a second. Yes, we've still got the roles, select company to see roles, add or select company to see their details. I think this is okay. That's fine. So then let's start thinking about how we want to style this up. And this is where things get real challenging for old Daniel. Because I have no idea what I want this to look like. I haven't really thought about even things like color scheme. I don't think I want it to look like Theo's Quest because I'm not particularly happy with my design skills on this one. Nor do I, for obvious reasons, I don't want to look like this at all. Let's have a think. The color scheme, I mean, I could just go with the color scheme, couldn't I? Oh, that's a terrible idea. Let's leave it for now. Tell you what, let's do, I think there's a list of colors in here. So let's just pick some stuff out of here. Like the grays are quite nice. The slate is quite a nice color. So like slate 800 is pretty good. So I'm not 100% sure on how I get that started. Or okay, let's just mess around. Let's just mess around. I don't think there's really any oh, this is going to be problematic, isn't it? Okay, let's swap to IntelliJ. Let's go to I don't know how to jump to files in IntelliJ. UI source, company, mod. So in here, we should be able to do, I think it's just color. Maybe not. Text, color, name, number, text, color. So is this working just as badly here? It's possible. I've lost it again. Command P. Text layer 800. Oh, okay, thank you. This is going to get awkward. Let me just move this onto another screen so I can still see it, but it's not bothering you guys. I'll bring this back up. So text slate should still not. Oh, there we go. Just being very slow. Cool. We would like this to be. What did we decide text size was? Say that. It is very clearly not reloading the style sheets. Is it breaking underneath? No, and it even says that it's hot reloading. I don't believe you. I am in the wrong place, and we can immediately see why I don't like. Damn it. Let me just, okay, let me think about this in a more sensible way. And the buttons are all different in here. I believe what we can do is this. I think you are unhappy because I have got too many closes and not enough here, right? No, that was the right number. I think. There we go. Okay, that's far too dark. I was thinking about the... okay, we're working. Is there a auto format? Command P, no, Command Shift P. Oh yeah, Command P, thank you for the... Command P for file search and Command Shift P for for like action search, and then I want format maybe. Well, doesn't like that. Let's do terminal, and we will just do DX formats down here. Hopefully that will get it. Okay, I think that's right. Did that change? Did I mistake? Doesn't matter. Keep moving, Daniel. Okay, so let's look at... so apparently there's a Tailwind formatter and also Prettier, which is quite nice. I did see actually there's one that sort of makes sure your... Or there is a thing that makes sure your things are in the right order. There's the fold one that... who mentioned that? Sorry. Razvan mentioned the fold. There's a general order for Tailwind classes not required. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have seen the one in IntelliJ as well, but without it working on the props, there's not a lot of point. I'll have to try and find out if anyone else has hit the same issue. I guess that I'm already sort of, you know, Dioxys is unique enough, let alone using Dioxys in Rust Rover and then using it with Tailwind. It feels like too small of a sub thing for me to easily find sort of help on that sort of thing. Maybe it needs to dive. I bet there's something on Reddit. I did check their Dioxys Discord and found nothing on it. So layout style, other basic. Oh yeah, I'll see how we get on for now. Hopefully we're not going to go too crazy. What I do want to do though is make that change that we just saw to the. I want to take the darker grey and put it on the darker slate and put it on the background for kicks and giggles. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect we will be able to do, oops, body, and then apply. I think this is the right way to do like the general body one, but I'm not 100% sure. BG color, BG slate, 800. I thought that was a very nice color. And once again, it says that it's reloaded, but not done it. So I've probably made a mistake. Oops, Tailwind. Oops. Body. Unclear. Interesting. Maybe it's not the body, that's a possibility. That is this. It might be something else has the color applied to it. No, it's going to be the body, so why? What color are you? I can't change OKLCH into but that's definitely not applied correctly. So that I think that's probably the important thing. So wonder what we've done wrong. We can just Google it, can't we? Root like this. Ooh, like this. Oh, there we go. Look, it's changed now. Everything else is still black. Okay, so there are, let's go into, I don't think it's these ones. I think that in here we have some styling already. And I don't think we need any of this. I think it all comes from when you build a Dioxys app to start off with, much like if you do like a create React app, it comes with a ton of stuff built in. I don't think we need any of it. Let's just see where it's currently referenced though. I think if I go to home, no, sorry, main, they should all be loaded in with the same, this thing. I think this should be the same everywhere. Is there a global find? There isn't, it's only there. Interesting. So where does the black come from? Not you. Well, wouldn't be any you. Got to be, nope. Here, body. No, that's the text color. Fascinating. Let's just make this bigger. At some point in the future, I'm going to have to work out how to control the window properly, which is going to be an interesting one because it uses Rye or something underneath. I'm not entirely sure on the specific thing it uses to communicate with the window, and what's even more frustrating, I think, is that Dioxys have said they are going to change the window renderer. So even if I learn how to use it, or the window manager, not window manager in the sense of I don't know what it's called. So the question is, why is this black? I'm not seeing anything that suggests. It seems to be the whole top layer. It's not body. Oh, is it body? Oh, look at that. So let's just have a look and see if we can find this color, I guess. The one that we were looking at originally, Daniel. Main CSS. This, I think, can all go away. We're going to lose we'll lose quite a lot. You know what? Let's just delete everything. Let's delete it all. I don't want this. I don't want this. Wait, did I? We will think about what we want out of those. I think we can just delete all of this. We're not going to use the any of these CSS files, but we should end up with a whole load of errors because we're probably importing them somewhere. No, we just got told how to do this. Command P. .css. There we go. Input's fine. Tailwind is fine. These ones need to go as well, and the mobile ones too. So how do I jump to this file? It already did. That's nice. Delete. And delete. When we come to do the mobile web and other things, if we do them, we'll have to rethink how Tailwind actually works because we need to dump the file out into different places. It looks like Dioxys doesn't want to read CSS from a higher level than the package you're building for, which is a mild irritation. Now, if I regenerate, sorry, I'm regenerating on another screen, I get a load of errors, so now I can go and find them. Let's bring this back over. We'll just close that for now. So, echo, actually this entire file can go away. We don't use this anywhere, I'm pretty sure. Let's do safe delete just in case. Few usages. Yep, those can all be deleted. And use, pub use echo. Nope, that's gone as well, cool. Rerun safe delete, okay. Hero, that is bringing in some style sheets. Get rid of that. It's using the wrong link types, that's why I couldn't find them. I don't know if I did that or if it was already like that. Not 100% sure. So that can go away. I have a funny feeling I'm not using this either, or am I? Assets header.svg. Yeah, I'm not using this anymore. It's from the original build, so we can delete that as well. And we can also delete this. And this. Cool, and then web's going to have the same problem. Get rid of all that and that. And then if we go back to the terminal and rerun, we should still get some errors. I don't think I caught all of them. Header SVG, you can go away. Oh no, wait, what? I think that's an old error. Let's just try doing a full rebuild. Okay. And that is being used down here. I can see the little red line. And gosh, they're all over the place. Support is another thing. So again, Dioxys sort of encourages you to create sheets for each individual air quotes page for things that are going to be different on that specific page and then import them into that page, which again, somewhat sensible, so you don't download styles that you're not using if you've got like a large app with a lot of stuff going on. In our case, not helpful. I think this probably won't work. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're moving in the right direction. We now have a color. So company details, I think that's probably fine. I need to shrink up the left-hand side of the flex here. Ship it. It says 891. I think that I would probably be charged with some sort of crime for putting that out. So not the hero, sorry, not in here at all. Am I even using this? I don't think I'm even using this one, am I? Delete. Usages. I don't think I'm using this. This is the old hero from the old starting thing. So I think it's still happy. Let's just do one triple check by cancelling that and doing a full rebuild. And that means I can delete this file. Okay. Yep. Okay, let's just do a commit because this is one thing I've been really bad on Sorry, I'll finish up my thought and then I'll comment on the chat. One thing I've been really bad on streams is making sure I'm actually doing sort of smallish commits. So this is largely just a refactor, remove unused stuff. That's a terrible message. And I know I've made some, have I made some other changes? No, that's fine. Yeah, well, I added that in. Yeah, you removed unused stuff. Started leaning on Tailwind. Commit and push. Yeah, Vincent says MVP right here. I have definitely worked on some fun MVPs. Right, this is web home. None of that matters. So that's a good job that caught that. Oops. To do stuff. The entire app. UI hero, I think that's fine. Refresh that. Hopefully everything is still ticked. Commit and push. I've definitely worked on some dodgy MVPs, but none have been quite this bad. 891 suggests charging $9.99 a month for it, which is a nice callback to the fact that I hate subscriptions. I like that. Close you for a second. Push. Okay, so I do also need. So there's a bunch of things that I'm not really thinking through properly. If I were doing a good job, I would be thinking about the theming. I'd be thinking about the fact that I probably want to have a dark mode on this, which Tailwind is really good at supporting. I am not thinking about any of that right now. I just sort of want to play around and get going with it. Flex, and I think, sorry, it's flex. Oh my goodness, it's going to be the same problem. Let's go back to, where are we? VS Code. And then it's no, hang on, flex column. No, flex row. No, it's already going to be a flex row. That should be fine. I don't think I need to do anything with that. Right. Go back to the terminal. Open. I don't think that's worked. It's very much an I don't believe you, isn't it? That's not changed, so... Oh. Manual rebuild. There, that's correct now. So we've moved off grid and into Flex. Flex starts off in a row, and that's fine for us. Let's have a look at the nav bar at the top. What's the best thing to start off? Let's start off with some basics. We know that we're not going to want this color on everything, this black on slate. So I also think I might want to go one darker on the slate as well. Not that file, Daniel. So let's see. That's very dark. And then I'm going to want to set the default text color. It's flexed. Right? Tailwind. So company Vincent works for, does both. You can either buy it or rent it. I think that's probably okay. Like IntelliJ kind of has, I mean, it's a, I don't know if I hope they haven't changed this, but when they originally moved to a subscription model, everyone was very frustrated with that. And they then decided to commit to, if you do a subscription for a full year, you are entitled to whatever version it was at the start of the year in perpetuity, which I think is quite good. People really love... I need to turn off the AI. I moved to DuckDuckGo to get away from Google for a bit, and it's still got all the AI stuff, which you can turn off in DuckDuckGo at least. Tailwind, it's at base, blah, blah. Sorry, 891 says at base, blah, blah, don't know what that actually means in the context of the thing, though. Do you mean it's like... Nope, I have no idea. Apply. So you, oh, so I could just do in here. That would be rather nice if that's the, oh wait, we decided that wasn't it, didn't we? Let's go with, I thought we decided it was this one. Oof. Oh, how did we do it? Just 12 seconds ago. We did it inside of... Oh, yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. Of course. You, yeah, sorry. Thank you, 891. There we go. Lovely, lovely. A bit ditzy sometimes. So, we do have these sort of menu options at the top. Let's sort those out next. This is where we had like the, I need to work out, there are errors that I need to work out in here. Let's just pretend they're not there though. There's some issue with sort of the order of rendering or something like that, and I wonder if that's another thing that maybe the ARC stuff will help with. Sorry, 1 second, I'm just gonna take a drink. My goal for this stream, I bought a new like 1 litre mug. My goal for the stream is to make sure I get to the end of it by the end of the stream, because I think of the 5 previous streams I did, I only actually properly drank on one of them, and I always feel wretched afterwards. So you guys are gonna have to remind me to drink. I also set an alarm. Right, let's sort this out. We have a navbar here with some children. So the navbar, I think this is probably fine. We can delete this because we aren't using classes anymore. Sorry, we aren't using IDs anymore. We would like this to be flex. We would like the to justify. Going back to VS Code. Really need to work this one out. I was so happy when I realized you can configure Tailwind inside of IntelliJ, and then it didn't do anything. So that was disappointing. Right, so we think it is going to be like justify items. Actually, isn't there one that's called like, yeah, gap 1 maybe? Maybe that's not it. I just want a little bit of space. I also, sorry, I'm going to be jumping around a lot as I think this through, so also please feel free to shout out, Daniel, what are you doing? Grab, oh yeah. Is it like pixels or something silly? They don't use their size. 891 suggests gap 4. And that doesn't appear to have changed. I feel like it's redoing the CSS but not redoing the HTML, which means that the... Oh, also it just crashed as well. Thank you, that does work. I would like to, this one I can do in IntelliJ. I'm going to be bouncing around between the two. You are all just going to have to put up with it. I would like to add a margin of 20, maybe? No, it's going to be some weird number, isn't it? Let's see where we get to. Okay, that puts a tiny margin on it. Let's see. There we go. So I just wanted to increase the margin around the edge a little bit, although I might get rid of that later. Also thinking about it, maybe I don't want it that way. Maybe I only want it left and right, and then I'll sort out the margin at the top a bit in the navbar itself, because I actually want the navbar to be margin top and bottom. it's a base size and multiplier. Sorry, 891 was commenting on the gap. It's a base size and multiplier. You can redefine all of it. It has a comment after, I think. A comment. Yes, yeah. So sorry, that one does, and then also, wait, yeah. Oh, it's not going to work in here. Yeah, 16 pixels. So 4 is, wait, it's 416 in both of them. So it maybe was working and it just wasn't refreshing the HTML from the UI being updated. Not to worry. So the nav bar now I want MY 4 probably. So that gives us the space above and below. I will also like a hover. I think there's got to be an underline, right? Not that. I don't think there's an easy way of doing child in here. You can do group, but it's slightly different. So I need to go to where the navigation items are being added. I want to find usages probably. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be like right here. So in here we can now do class. Yeah, so this is where I feel slightly, and I'm hoping someone is going to correct me on the right way of doing this, but it's a bit annoying that I have to do this on every single one of them. Oops. Can't remember the buttons. It's not that. Alt Shift. Nope. Control down. Well, that's clearly not it either. I know I can hold Alt to get multi-correct, and I just muck that up too. Didn't I just... Yeah, there we go. So now... There we go. Each one gets a little underline, which at least sort of helps with the fact that it's a link. Yeah, I think group is only needed if you need to have sort of a property or like a behavior from a parent into like make a child do a thing, which is the opposite. Or like it's not what we're doing in this case at all. I do like that you can name groups and peers, which is quite nice. Helps keep things sensible. One says if you do end up doing lots of repetition, it normally indicates the need for nested components, but like font styles, H1, etc., are the blessed ways of using apply. Yeah, in this case though, it's sort of, so if I were doing this as normal CSS, and this goes back to the point that I was saying earlier about how I feel like every tutorial I've seen on Tailwind ignores the C of CSS. Really, this is a nav bar, so I should be able to say the children of the nav bar can be underlined and not have to say each child individually needs to be underlined. But never mind. Where are we? So that's that sorted. So next we want to go to companies. So we've got these sort of two items here, companies and roles. Let's go find those. I'm pretty sure I can jump from here, right? Maybe I can't. I think I have to go home. And we've got our company list and our role description. So role description is probably not going to be... Oh, sorry, role description's on the right. Oh, role description's on the right. I can delete this now. That's is that going here? We'll work this out in a minute. So role list, company list. The best way to think about it is C stands for component. Yes, but then I have to end up doing, I mean, you're right, but then I have to end up making each of these an additional component where I'm passing these bits through, and the only thing the component does is add the class, which again feels not the right way of doing it. But we'll go through, see how we get on. So company list, we would like to make the, I think we can drop a lot of these IDs now. We're not doing that anymore. H3, so this is where this is probably not technically correct because we have an H3 before we have an H1. So I don't think that's probably the right thing. We could do a header and then a P. There's probably some correct semantic way of doing this. Shouldn't change anything in terms of how it's rendered for now. We can then do our class in here, and we'll do a 2XL. Makes it a little bit nicer. There isn't actually, so I know it looks like there's space here. There isn't. There is a text box, which, shall we sort that out next? I think I want to do some weird things with the text box as well. So you can see we've got two text boxes, and the reason is we have like a search box that will show you as you start typing, but then we also have a box that adds new companies in, and I kind of think maybe they should be the same box. Not sure on the usability on that though, because if you start typing and press enter, should it create a new one? Or should it select the first one? I think maybe it would select the first one that has appeared. But I can't easily... Yeah, I need to think about the sort of keyboard input part of it. Let's look at the input element, and let's think about... That's this one here. So this one is not part of a form. It only deals with the search. Let's think about... there is a... I thought there was a way of styling inputs in a sensible way, but perhaps there's not. I know there's this bit on file inputs. That's, I think, what made me think it was there. So you can do these incredibly... This is really cool. So this is really hard to do in CSS for file input specifically. And Tailwind just sort of gives you a borderline free way of doing it, which is very cool. But I don't think it does normal inputs in the same way. So I guess we just sort of have to style it up. There's a form plugin, A91 says. Do I want to use form plugins yet? Can't remember where the plugins are. Oh, official plugins, forms. I mean, maybe. Why not? Should we just go for it? I currently don't have a Tailwind config.js. So I suppose I probably ought to look up that as well. Let's see. Is that correct? I think it is. Nope. It's Tailwind CSS/CLI, I think. Oh, Tailwind 3. Okay, that's a Tailwind 3 config, and they've changed it in 4. Also, no sold on about Tailwind 4, as I'm not currently using it. Yeah, that's understandable. Okay, it's Tailwind CSS. Is that not what I wrote? Oh, npm, no, npx. I was wondering if there was like an init to create a config file and that would help, but no. Apparently it's mostly, so A91 says it's mostly the config that's changed between 3 and 4. Did I miss it? Okay. Let's just Google it. Oh. Hello? Tailwind 4 config file. Hopefully this will just take us to the right place. V3 config file. That talks about CSS configuration, not the configuration of the dynamic configuration. No configuration required. How about instead with looking for the thing that's the partway thing, let's do Tailwind for forms. And thank you. Thank you to 891 for messaging me directly with this link. It isn't available yet in V4. Plugins are custom utilities. We don't have support for custom plugins. So it looks like we can't do that. Unless there's a new way of doing it. I mean, we could just be overthinking it, right? We probably just want something like this, really. It's nothing too complicated. Let's just go in. Sorry, laughing at the chat, but it doesn't need repeating for the stream. If you are watching later, you can always open up the chat and see the banter. Could flow bite it, but flow bite isn't a good place. No, I don't. I think we can just probably we can start off just doing it, as I said, in the component itself. This one. I'm going to keep that for a minute because I'm actually not sure if that one does matter. It might. So we would like BG. Let's just try white. Start off. That is my water timer. Let's get some rounded corners. It might be a bit too rounded. What do we think? Oh, that's apparently not a thing. Rounded. Yeah, that's quite nice. Can you do placeholder? Ooh, can we do text in here? I know there's like a whole... Maybe that's not the right way to do it. We don't like placeholders for... I should really be labeling the form. Maybe. Don't know. We'll leave it as this for now. At least that gives us the sense that there is something here. Oh, good grief. Okay, let's do BG slate 800. This is the sort of... Oh, 900, right? Oh, no, let's do 800. It'll be slightly lighter. And then we can do text slate. We got 200. There we go. I think that looks reasonable, right? Lovely. So I don't think the stream chat is, despite it being low latency, I don't think it's quite up to date. So I apologize. I have no idea 891 what you're saying. I think you can, but it's mucky in reference to, unless it was still the flow byte thing, which I think we're probably okay without now. Thanks. Submit buttons as well. So let's think about that. We have this form here. So this probably needs to be something like flex column, I think. And that would put it underneath, I would have thought. Oh no, I'm missing a comma. Does that mean I broke it? It could do... Yep. Don't worry. Do worry. So I've made a mistake somewhere in that. Ugh. Diving around. I bet it's like a comma or something. Nope. Company list. Let's just do a quick rebuild. Course. Okay, so now our submit button's underneath. I think that looks a little bit nicer. We need to make it look like an actual button though. Oh, I keep choosing the wrong things. I, you know, the funny thing there, I think, is that both my VS Code and my Helix both use the same color scheme. I wonder whose fault that is. And the fact that I'm using Helix at all, in fact. That's odd, though. Can you see that that doesn't align correctly with the one below it? What does it? Oh, maybe it's just my eyes. Okay. Oh. It doesn't anymore. Why? I don't see any reason for it to not take up the full width. Oh, it's because of flex. Is because of flex, right? Because it changes the way that it's rendered inside, I think. So how much do I care? I think I can just do W. Is there like 100%? A stretch. Max. What does max do? It's not going to tell me. W full, thank you. And something's broken again, has it? Still not working, interesting. Oh, because I've applied it to the wrong thing. Genius. Okay. And I do agree, sorry, 891 says everyone should try Helix, and I do kind of agree that everyone should try it. You don't have to like it, but you should definitely try it. Wonder where this ought to go in the scheme of things. There we go. Okay, that fixed that. Thank you very much. Roles, we need to move on to that. We're going to end up with the exact same issues, which is a little bit annoying to have to go through it all again. But again, we could make components if we really wanted to. Or could we? I'd have to pass all the things in. Yeah. So didn't really think this through when I named all the files mod, did I? It's the roles list. Oh, it's going to be like populated roles list though, I think. There we go. Now, do I still have it in memory? Nope. And this will also, oh, it's because I haven't done the, I want to do that here as well, class. And what do we have? It was like flex and flex column, I think. That was all. Col. Oops. Oh no, I'll have crashed it with the non-comma. Will it come back? Who knows? There we go. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, next we need to fix the submit buttons. So let's do that. This is very slowly coming together. I'm quite happy. Might put a bit of padding on the right of the this column. I feel like that might be the right thing to do. Oh, I also still need to do the roles as well, the word roles. So, and I obviously can't remember what I did to the other one, so back to the other one. Oh, literally just 2XL, okay. Did it again. Caught in time. Didn't do anything though. me shrink this up a little bit, move over so I can see what we're doing. So H3 roles, class 2, text 2L. Oh, this is going to get very frustrating. I know why this is. It's because I haven't selected a role yet. So we end up with that being okay, but the other one not being okay. So I need to go to the... 1GN says, switching from Vin, I assume, to Helix took only a week to get used to the order change. Because what's frustrating about that is I barely use Vim and I can't get over certain things. Like I keep hitting double D for down. And then also getting the order wrong. I think I'm just a bit slow, maybe. Or like I'm bad at learning. Love that a lot of other things like LSPs and completions. Yeah, the LSPs inside of Helix are really nice as well. It's just me then struggling with the flipping between them, I guess. Okay. At some point I need to get rid of this error message thing that's in every single form, but that doesn't have to be right now. We are getting there with this, so I need to change... Let's go back to the files. It should be in empty role list. This one also needs to be class. Text to Excel. And then when this reopens, hopefully... Maybe it won't reopen, maybe just hold reloads. I could just press the O button, couldn't I? So now we have that correct and that correct. Don't like the fact that that slightly changed the column, but that's something for another time. I do agree. So 891 says, I think the navigation bindings make much more sense. GL, GH, GA. Yeah, I really like the fact that G and then the buttons, the direction buttons take you to the end of whichever direction you've pushed is really nice. So what was I doing? Submit buttons. How do we want to do the submit buttons? I think they can probably be something like, let's just do something horrible like BG slates 400. I'm getting too close to the middle, I think, of the range. Text. G slates. Let's go back up to 800, which is the, 900 even, is the background color. Not terrible, rounded. But what I probably don't want is for this to be the full width. I'm also apparently missing, I don't know why, but I'm missing the hover state on submit. Hover. There's got to be some sort of pointer, cursor, hand thing. Close, close, close. Okay. It's not a pointer event, cursor. So we've got cursor pointer. Cursor pointer is probably what I want there. Oh, actually, I think I don't need to do that, right? It's just going to be cursor pointer. There we go. There we go. And I would like this to not be full width. Oh, thank you, 891. Sorry. Got there on my own, but you were helping me the whole time. And so now I'm going to want, can I do M auto? There we go. And then probably PY1. Oh, no, PX1. To be honest, actually both. P1. No, let's do PX1, PY2. So the P is, got the wrong way around again. The P is the padding. The X and Y is the direction. So it's basically the Y is giving us top and bottom, and the X is giving us left and right. PX 1.5. Yeah, give that a go. It's a bit large, isn't it? What do I prefer? I mean, I do like chunky, actually. Oops. Yeah, let's go chunky, which means this probably needs to be a bit larger. Then we're going to need MT. Start off with 1, 2. I do like the fact that it's updating pretty quickly in the thing. Let's give that a go. Now, gap on the container. Which container? There's a whole concept of containers in Tailwind, so now you're making me nervous. Company gap on the container instead of margin. Oh yeah, was the on the flex. I see what you mean. Yeah. So that's going to be. I don't suppose. No, look at that. Gap Y4. Oh, didn't like that. Done something wrong probably. On the flex. That'll do all the items though, right? In the flex. I suppose there's only the 2 things. Yeah, it's probably all right. Yeah, let's do it. And then it'll be consistent if I do change things later. Gap Y. Start with 2. Get rid of that so we can see what's happening. I think that looks okay. Yeah, let's go with that. So I need to have another drink of water. And restart my timer. I don't want every single submit button to have to be done separately, and I think this is going to end up bugging me. So I could create a class myself, or I could apply this to all submit buttons. I'll have to have a think. Let's do it for now though. So the other one is the company list here, and probably, oh yeah, there's one on. Don't know what I wrote there. It's not the right thing. Oh, it is the right thing. So that gives me my chunky submit button on companies as well. The other thing I'm gonna have to think about is how to sort of, I think that this probably wants to be a, okay, you know what? Sorry, this is bugging me, so I'm just going to fix it. I'm going to make this sort of this, which shouldn't be too hard. So, sorry, I know I promised lots of Tailwind today, and I'm going back into Dioxys again. We've got like an on-input company search here. I bet this will be fine to put here, and then for me to just delete this input. I suspect this will be fine. He says, noticing the application's not come back again. That's not changed. I'm not sure why it's requiring a full rebuild every so often. I'm not sure if it's, say, something to do with... There we go. Look at that. Oh, wait. Oh, dear. I know what that is. I know what that is. It's... there's a value that's being reset. So if I drop back here, the value is company name search. That is company name value. I don't know why. There we go. So you can, yeah, it's fine, I think. It's slightly better. I might do the same with this later, but that's a whole bit of logic about sorting by name in here. Flags are fine. We need to sort out the So if I select a role, okay. Let's move on to, how are we doing for time? Not too bad, we're like halfway through. Let's move on to working out this sort of like tab thing. So we're going to end up, sorry, where's my design gone? Literally clicking on everything that's not it. We're going to have this sort of another nav bar here, which may or may not have these additional bits on the right that will then display the thing underneath. I think there is a way of managing all of this in Tailwind without needing to do a lot of code, but I think it probably... Sorry, drinking makes me burpy, apparently. It's only a bit of squash. I think there's a way of doing it in Tailwind where you can do like lots of sort of collapses and hides and things like that. But I think in this case, because these won't exist unless you have selected a role, we can probably make it via the navigation itself. I think it'll be all right. The other thing is from a web point of view, maybe I should have done this web first, really. From a web point of view, I would probably have in the router here a way of getting the company ID that's currently selected and potentially the role ID that's currently selected. So that's one to think about in the future. For now, I'm going... That would solve a lot of problems. Okay, not going to do it now. Now's the time to focus on Tailwind. We'll solve all our logic problems later. Let's go to where? We're going to want another nav bar. We're going to want it in the... What is... no, we don't want it... We want it in home. Here. So we've got these sections here, but we're probably going to want something that decides which section is currently going to show. Oh, this so is the other thing. Okay, tell you what. If it's a flex, oh sorry, that was the old comment. Let's start with the nav bar, and we will do the nav items. What do we do? Link something. Need to re-look at what I was doing in main. Was it in main? I don't think it was it? Was it? No, it wasn't. Here, yeah, so it's just a link. We'll just grab these for now. So I'm not actually going to... It would make so much more sense if I just did it. Let's work our way through it. Let's work our way through it. We're going to need to change the router as well. So what have we got? We've got company details, role details, interview details. Yeah, it didn't work. Company details, role details, interview details, and questions. And obviously none of this is going to work, so we're going to have to look. I'm going to just go into the docs again. I'm sorry, I know this was supposed to be all about Tailwind, but I don't really think there's a sensible way around this as we build up the UI. There's an innate logic to the, or there is a requirement, I think, to sort of think through the structure of the application as we do it. So I need to look at how to take details from the... That's a very subtle add. Oh, there's the little message. Not used to... Oh, yeah, this will work. So we will end up with... I think it is going to be something like this, where we have... Okay. Not sure what the blog, layout blog is going to be. It's this, okay. Oh, that's quite nice then. So, okay, so what we're looking at here, we've got this, we're using the Doxist router. We have this nested /blog root, and everything within the /blog root will use the layout blog, which we can see here. Now we've got this outlet route here, which I'm thinking is going to be either blog list or blog post, depending on what the child route is going to be. This works nicely for us, I think. We're going to end up with a lot of UUIDs in the in the URL, which you won't be able to see in desktop, but you will be able to in the app. But I do like the idea of the sort of the state of the application being part of the URL rather than us having this like weird context thing that we currently have. How do we get on with this, by the way? I think yeah, we've sort of gone off that. That's fine. So if we go to our router, which we will probably need to import, there we go. We have this home here. Now we would like, don't know why it keeps doing that, a bit annoying, to have this nest. Oh, is that going to be right? Is there a way, I wonder, of... Okay, maybe this isn't the correct way. So I want the home to be the default. If you're on /, it'll just be on home. And then if you go into something like, I mean, okay, so what I could do is something like this, I think. And then do sort of home company ID. Is that how we do it? Let's have a look. That's interesting. So I think it's going to end up being, I don't know that we can type it as a UUID and have it as a string. Let's have a go though. This is going to get very silly, I think, very quickly. We've got a lot of angry lines, commas. What we're missing here, to import UUID as well. Oof, did not like that. Stop that building for a minute. So company does not, sorry, home doesn't currently take the just in between, but why Doxis and not something like Slint? I don't know. I quite like Doxis. I haven't used Slint. Evan says it needs to implement from strut and display, which UUID I'm pretty sure does. So let's give it a crack. What I'm missing though is that home needs to take the company ID as an option. Company ID option UID. Could be a U64. I think it has to be a U128 for a UUID, but also, well, it would be shorter. Would it be shorter? You lose the letters. No idea. Overthinking it. Let's see how we get on. So this is still unhappy. Is it? Root home. Oh, root home. Yeah, no, that's true. It's not the view, it's the root. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. So, okay, maybe this is all right, actually. If I drop this down here, home isn't, because it's an enum, so I can't have the same thing twice. That was unreasonable. If I now go into the home thing here, we now have the company ID as part of the URL, so we don't need this. I am going to go one further, grit my teeth and pray for something. and drop that as well. And then I don't even need the context anymore. The entire context can go away. So that's literally all I was using that for. Let me think. Do I want to deal with the arcs right now? No. But that's not a big issue. We get the store type here, so we could just change this to role ID. Sorry, this will be UID. And then we can get, if I change that to ID here, I believe we can then probably just load it. I do choose the most complex things for the latter half of the stream, don't I? Let role equal. The thing is, it's going to be a use resource because it can't do it immediately. Was it an option to begin with? I think it was, so that's probably okay. Whoops. So we have, this gets the application context, which is not what we care about. Why am I doing this so many times as well? Don't care about that. I don't care about this. Wait, I don't think I care about this. I think I'm probably going to end up in a weird dead end in this, but we'll see where we get to. So let's rethink everything. So we're currently getting the role ID, maybe. Using that, we can get the role itself. I have an odd feeling that I also need to set this to a read only to trigger a refresh when the role ID changes. But we're going to get rid of the changing. Okay, this is actually going to make things a lot simpler. Let's start one bit at a time. I don't care about the application context. I care about the store type. And this isn't going to be that. It's going to be get store dot get, no, recall by ID. Let me start my water timer. And then we're going to have role ID in here. Except that won't actually work. We need to do it's going to be the opposite of this basically. If let sum role ID equals role ID, or even better, I don't know why I'm doing if let sum and then we can use maps, right? Maybe we can't use maps because they're awaiting. Okay, let's not do it. So you can map an option. That's not what I'm doing, apparently. Drop that. Do not care about any of this. That's already the same thing. Dot OK. Dot OK, I think. Role ID is unhappy. Mismatch because it expects it to be this. I think this was something I was wondering about. Should I allow recall by ID to take any type that has a role, that has an ID, even if that is the concrete type? If I jump into it, just quickly show you. So at the moment, recall by ID takes a reference to something that has an ID, but I probably could do this instead because has ID is implemented for anything that is a reference of something that has ID. Doesn't matter. Undo that for a moment and fix it another time. So that should give us our role. We do not care about any of this now because what we want to do now is redirect you to the URL for this company and this role. So there's going to be a lot of changes. Okay, we're done with Tailwind for a minute. So we are going to think about this for a second. Role resource doesn't need to happen. I need to navigate to a new page. So how do I trigger that Dioxys router trigger navigation? I just want to basically fire an event that says go somewhere else. navigate to. This doesn't what? To navigate to CX render. RSX link. Prop can be triggered to navigate to another route. I don't think that's the right way to do it, do we? Yeah, this is more what I'm looking at. Oh. Bet that's gone. Router. Programmatic navigation. This is what we care about. So we would like a navigator, and then we push onto the navigator. That's literally it. Lovely. Let's give it a crack. So and I am aware that I'm ignoring a result here, by the way. Like nav equal navig. Ah, look at that. Nav dot push, and then I think, assume it's going to take a into. Yeah, so we should be able to take a router. That's our router. Is it? Maybe. Nope. That's why that doesn't work. Push. It is. Oh, it's possible that we don't have. Oh, that's going to be okay. So we have to move the router away from here and into the UI layer. Risk it for a biscuit. Oh, things are going to get really weird though, because technically the views are also part of the desktop app. So maybe we don't want that to happen either. So there's going to be more stuff moving around. Let's give it a crack. We will put it right at the top because I think that's probably where it belongs. Mods router. Pub use router. I mean, we can just, yeah. We will create that file, place this in here. I need to make it public. That seems happy. UID, interesting. Oh, no, it's brought it in. That's perfect. Let's not do that though. Do that. Then we will probably need to create our views over here instead. So, for example, home is not referencing anything right now. So if I go back to here, what I could do, can I just move it? No, I think not. Oh, it's going to get real cross if I move it across. That's fine, probably, maybe. So router's still sad. Views are here. Help. Get logs directory. Ah, but I could just pass that in, right? dir. I think that's a path. Oh, this isn't going to work. Because the logs themselves are read from the file system, which doesn't exist in every case. So what we could do is bring get logs back. Maybe this is fine. Let's see. Get logs can go back into our desktop. Clear logs can also go into our desktop. It's this bit here that probably matters. So we can definitely bit off more than I can chew here. we will probably need to use signals in order to trigger the functions across different things. So, sorry, to reiterate why I'm now struggling. Yeah, I'm a fool, that's why. We've got this health page, which has the logs on it. I could just take this one out for now. You know what? That is what I'm going to do. I'll come back and fix it later. So we'll just take this out because we can't do any of that. And we will take basically all of this out. And instead of any of that, we'll just return some RSX that says, please fix me. And maybe a little sobbing face. Sob. There we go. Perfect. That's how we fix things on streams. This is fine. We can re-import this. This will be fine. Probably. Interesting. Those should not be defined. Oh, none of this. Hang on a minute. Create router, no. This should be UI. UI. Oh, is it? No. Wait, where am I? I am in UI, so it is in the correct place. Okay, fine. And then we also want our use, create views, create views, company support role list. No, none of that's correct. Why did I not bring in? This is a UI item, right? I think I'm just being silly. I think I'm just being very silly. Yeah, this is all okay. It's because I've moved the view into where all of these items are. So these just need re-importing again so that they point to the crate instead. Going to try that for my next PR and see what happens. Going to try what? You're going to try and fix the thing I just broke? I wouldn't do that. Good grief. I mean, knock yourself out, absolutely. But wow. Why is role description sad? Did I do something silly with it? Did I put it somewhere over here? Nope. Unclear on why that's not working. Did I bring in? Bet you I did the exact same thing as last time. No sobby faces and stuff. So if it gets fixed, it might be Vincent that did it. I am probably going to well, it does need fixing. Vincent, join me in the Discord at some point and we can chat it through. If you were to do it, you'd be legendary. I think so. I will tell you how I think I would want to solve it, which is to move the logging stuff into the application layer, like the get logs and delete logs, and then just make the log thing take a list of logs and a signal to call if you are going to delete all the logs, which would then call the clear logs function probably. You could probably get away with passing in the entire function, but I think you might run into issues with how Dioxys works. But yeah. Right, so yeah, my thinking was I probably did not make the root public. I did make it public. And I made it public here. What? Have I made a different mistake? I am so confused right now. I mean, that should be oh, it's because it's a re-export. That was very silly of me. Okay. So now if I go back to main. Oh, you're Supernov. Now I know. Excellent. Yeah, we'll chat about the what might need to happen, but we'll need to get it back in soonish because obviously it's where all the errors go, or it should be where all the errors go. I'm just not doing a very good job of it. So this should now be importable, I believe. There we go. Root home, missing field, company ID shouldn't matter. Oh, because it's an option. Now I might need to check on the syntax of this. We will also need a role ID. We will probably eventually get to having interviews as well, so I'm just going to stick this in for now, even though we're not going to be using it because there is no such thing as an interview. Oh my god, summing up 2025. There's no such thing as an interview. I haven't seen one in months. That is not entirely true. I'm doing all right at the moment. So, why are you still red? Is that just outdated? Hopefully it's just, oh no, because home doesn't have those fields, so that's why it's going to be sad. What am I... I've gone around in a circle again, haven't I? How were we linking to the views? It's not this. That doesn't need to be here. Like, almost certain. So, I don't know. Missing fields doesn't matter. This should definitely be. Okay, let's work our way through slowly. So role ID and interview ID. I'm missing something here, I think. So we have our home. This now takes the fields that we care about. I will work out, sorry, drink time. I need to work out a place to put the arcs if I do that. I think in this case, I'm just going to load up from the storage what each item is at the point where I need it. I'm guessing with a lot of this stuff, I think I'm probably being quite silly. Role description, we decided we didn't know. Oh, is it in a view? Is that where? Did I never make it? That is a possibility. Let's just take this. What on earth am I doing? Let's just take it out for now. No, there was a role description, right? Have I deleted it somehow? Not here. Role information. That's it. It's this one. Should probably rename that to make it more sensible. So why am I unable to import it? Because it should be, sorry, we're in the storage. We don't want that. We should be here, right? So have we just made a mistake in here that's causing it to not be exportable? That's exactly what it is. Root, home, company ID, root, role ID. That should be it, I think. It might need, so we've got company ID, right? We're missing, I think it can be interview ID as none. And then we can drop all of this. This is going to make things so much simpler. You can always search by clicking next into project in Rust Rover and just start typing. Yeah, where is it? There is I think you can just type in here, right? Cargo. I'm not. Does it work with closed? What did we decide it was? Information. Okay. Yes, you're right. I tend to. Yeah, I'm very bad at all the things I do, honestly. What I should use is the file search in here probably, or even the symbol search, which would tell me exactly what I need. That's the entire point of it. But I just am bad with the what do you call it when you do something over and over again? Recall. Okay, so this is now allegedly fixed. It's still angry. Oh, I saw. Did I see? It says it's still angry, but I'm not sure why. We are going to have a lot of angry stuff to deal with though, so let's not worry too much. Description. Roll ready. Okay. I fundamentally do not believe any of this is going to work, by the way. Company details, not where I want to be. So in the company list, we will have another thing that will decide on the routing effectively. I'm going to leave that all going to the help page that I just made cry. Sorry, Vincent. I think people just learn different things differently. Don't worry. Meso for you. Are you building a web app using Rust end to end? Yes, I am. It's not. It's a desktop. Well, I'm focusing on the desktop app part of it. So one of the nice things about Dioxys is that you can just like basically use all the same code for an output, like a desktop app, a web app, a mobile app. You can separate out the services so that all three of those can talk to the same sort of server. I'm not doing it very well, to be honest. I have not really done desktop application development before, so I'm kind of all over the place. And one of the funnier things is when I started off with the storage, my web developer brain was like, I need a database. And then I was like, oh no, I've got a file system. I should probably just do that. So I deleted all the database stuff and moved to file system. And now I'm doing basically like, I had an application context model, and I'm now like, actually, I probably should just do the web development way of using the path to tell me the information about what I'm looking at. So yeah, fumbling through building a web app using Rust end to end. Yes. Where am I up to? This is still unhappy, but I get a tick at the top, which has me really concerned. If we just do a build, this won't work because I haven't changed a bunch of stuff. Cannot infer type. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is cool. So basically, this is the whole thing about it not really needing the type because I'm using role here, but maybe I'm not using it again in a sensible way. Oh, all of this can go. Role resource. This is technically role resource, right? Because that was the old way of getting it. So now I don't need that type inference anymore because, again, we're using the role resource to work out what we're doing. Form receiver probably is going to go away, but we'll look at that in a minute. Is not implemented. Okay, so from strut is not implemented for UUID. This is what Evan mentioned. So I could use a U128, which would make it a number instead of a UUID formatted thing. How? I'm surprised. I would have thought that it would. So UUID does implement from strut, but option maybe doesn't. So, or option T may not implement from strut for T. That's probably something else we can actually check. Option Rust. So implementations, we do not get from strut. That's the wrong way to do that, Daniel. Just want to search in this one. Okay, we don't get from strut for an option of T. So what's the best way of doing this? I'd be surprised if Deoxys didn't have a way of thinking about optional parameters in the router. Defining routes. Dynamic segments. I mean, we could also do that, to be honest. That's quite nice. Still doesn't get what I wanted. Could use a nested route. Okay. I'm going to preface with this with, I do absolutely love Deoxys, but I always feel like the feature I need is always in the next version. Okay, so let's have a think about this. We can't use FromStra for with optional things, but we probably could. No, we can't. We also can't use a dynamic route in this particular case because we always want to go to home. So let's just use... Oh, but if we don't... What if we just make our own type? Can we implement str for option of something? Or... Let's have a think about this. Okay. Could we do like a struct? What if we did... I don't think you can do this because of the wrapping type, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so because we're wrapping option in this case, we can't do that. So what we could do... That's extremely stupid. Oh, it's so stupid. Okay. What we could do is an enum of optional parameter. Oh, but will this still might not work because we are getting company ID, role ID, interview ID. Okay. What if we did a... Hang on, I'm going in the wrong place. Okay, so what if we did a component of home, just home. Well, this is going to be a bit grim. Okay, yes, I've got a plan. It's a terrible plan, but here we go. We're going to do RSX. When is the option none, and what do you want to look like in the URL? So yes, to answer that question, so I probably haven't explained myself very well, is when you start the application, you would effectively just be on, where's the slash button? Where is the slash button there? You would end up on like this, and that should be home. And then I would like for you to be able to do like home, what's a UID look like? Something like this would be home with company selected. And then, well, let's just say UID, otherwise it's going to get a bit long in there. So then UID, would be home with company and role selected. And then so forth. And then you'd have one for interview as well. So I think those are the 3 levels. So what I'm thinking is if I go, maybe I'll keep that for now. If I do like a new component and I just basically wrap the like home stupid element, this is going to be with no settings. So it'll just be like RSX home import from views. Don't know if that should be curly brackets. And then I could do home company. Company. Yeah, okay, so I think Evan agrees with this approach. So then we would end up with company ID, UUID, and this would then be company ID. I think you could keep them all the same component if you pass the component to the root. Oh. I don't know how to do that, so let's have a look. Defining roots. So e.g. root. Oh, interesting. Is there an example of that? As layouts, navigation, router. Sorry, trying to work out what it'd be called in the docs. We just went there, Daniel. It's none of those. I must have missed it. Is it documented? I'm probably missing it, am I? There's a nice approach, assuming that works. So, oh, but I would still need. So wait, are you suggesting that instead of this we do this, but then it would be we're going to be missing the actual thing. So then how does that work? Dioxis, router. So I guess I'm looking for the attribute somehow, aren't I? Oh, is that the same thing? Oh, do you mean like literally just drop all of this and then pick it up? Oh, got it. So I can do home company, home with, let's call these things slightly sensible things. So this would then be company ID. Oops, sorry, home. Yeah, with 3 enum variants, cool. Well, let's do with role. And, oh, it's needs that. And then company ID. Role ID. And the question sort of becomes, yeah, but then we're still locked into needing this to pass that as being optional, which is not. It is optional on home, but it's not in the root, in this specific root. If I do it this way, then I can just sort of hammer it through. Unless I'm doing it wrong, Evan, like, let me know, because I'm obviously not the expert here. I think you can make the enum variant non-optional. Can I? Would it be empty though? The router will handle the conversion. I think you make the enum variant non-optional. You mean on with company ID, UID? Oh yeah, so that's sort of, is that what I'm suggesting? I think that's what I'm suggesting with this one. So if it's not set, it'll go here and just load up home on its own. I think, I'm really sorry if I'm totally misunderstanding. Gonna try it. Sorry, I've made a mistake here. So this is field type is required. Now, why is it set? So blog post, blog ID, blog post, blog ID, usize. I do worry slightly that I'm driving Evan up the wall by making a complete mess of this. Oh, yeah. It was right there in front of me the whole time. This isn't about the properties being passed through. This is about defining the enum. There we go. So now we should be able to slide through. So this is still sad about the, let's just try cancelling that and rebuilding. But I think it should be able to infer it. Maybe it can't, and that's not the end of the world. Can't find company ID and scope. That's okay. We can get that. So we would know that that is role.company ID. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine. It's role.company ID. Can't find variant or union name. It's because it's home. Oh no, it's not. It's home role. Well, actually makes that code a bit simpler as well. Mismatched because it expected. There's no way for that to be. Oh, because we're getting it from the wrong place. That's fine. ID. Oh yeah. Fixing that. We still end up with this. It doesn't know. I think it's okay. Oh, get store doesn't know the type. I reckon if I do this, it might be able to recall by ID, has ID. Oh, that's the wrong one. So maybe it is the store. Unfortunately, I have a horrible feeling this actually needs to be like JSON store role, something grim like that. Nope. Consider moving this generic argument to the has future. Oh yeah. Have I also used the wrong thing here as well? That is also possible. No, it is the correct one. Okay, use context. So the issue here is going to be that getStore itself, it doesn't know what version of getStore it's using, I think. Oh, that was my fault, yeah. Store type, that has to be that. Can I infer the type of the store type? Let's just fix the other problems as well. So oops. Should make those problems go away. Layout desktop navbar. I must have created a component called desktop navbar somewhere, I think. So we can't use this anymore. This is going to have to be a normal navbar somewhere. We're only using it in this one place, so I think just ignore that for now. All the applications are going to be the same, it doesn't matter. We will just rename this to general navbar. Means this also needs to be general navbar. Just avoid calling it navbar because something else is called navbar. Keep digging through this. Okay, looks like we're down to the last two, which are these store type ones. So this was thanks to this genius idea of having these generic has future store for O. So the thing that's being returned I think there's a way of doing this with a generic in here, but it's like it's like a store type. Which one are we on? Company? Role? Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's just try one more thing, which is to fully type this. Because these were working earlier, so I feel like this is supposed to work it out backwards. It does. There we go. Okay. So we just have... Oh, it doesn't. Wait. Didn't we have two errors before? Where did the other one go? Cannot infer type. Just going to do the old full rebuild just to make sure. Sure, it's definitely right. Okay, this is pointing at the same error twice. That's what confused me. Weird though, because we do use this exact code all over the place inside of UI. None of this stuff, of course. At least I was fairly sure we did. Oh, apparently it's the only place. That's odd. This is also odd, right? This one does work using recall by company, which is still a generic function on the thing, so... So... Oh, it's going to be like storage... Ah, nuts. So, yeah, okay, fine. Oh! That could be horrible, though. No. How do we do the... okay, Rust... Turbofish associated type. Because, okay, so the reason is that we're not typing the thing that we're getting back, we're typing an aspect of it to try and narrow the types it could be. And once we get it down to one type, Rush should be able to work it out. You can do this with iterators. So you can do like, I think it's like item equals. Got the associated type here. That's all fine. Or maybe just get really all lazy. None of this. So no. It's not a constant. Maybe you can't do it. 30 minutes. It'd be real nice to end on a high at the end of the stream for once. The thing that's bugging me is why do the other recalls work? So recall by company ID here works fine, and it understands that what I'm expecting it. Oh. Nah, it'd be silly, right? I'm in the wrong place. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's hopeful, wasn't it? There's only one. The thing that I don't understand is there should only be one implementation for getting by role. There should only be one way of getting a role by ID. So at this point, it should be calculated. So that's where I'm a little bit. Unless I'm missing something else. Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong thing. Oh, I'm so stupid. I missed this entirely. It just didn't need to ask it to get the store because that's not a thing. There we go. We're getting there. We are borrowing. What are we borrowing? Probably the role ID. I really don't need to. I shouldn't need to move it because it is copy. So that's a bit odd. How do we handle that in the other file? The other file, we just move it, maybe. Do we use role ID outside of here? Does not look like it, so we should be safe to move. Becomes FM. Oh, I hate this bit. Do I need to move again? Is that? Let's use the use reactive trick that we're using there. Use reactive. Role ID. I don't think I need this any. Oh wait, where's the? Takes the role ID as a. Okay, so control that. Pop this in. Oops, there. You are sad because this function takes 2 parameters. Yep, that's tuple. Why do I have a comma here? I don't think I need that. I'm literally just copy pasturing all over the place. It seems oddly happy with this. Or not. Async. It's async move, is it? Async move. Cool. Just keep pushing the car to the top of the hill. There we go. Oh. So, I think as soon as I click on one of these, it's going to break, isn't it? It didn't. Because I'm not... that's fine. Okay, hang on a second. So, company list. The way this now needs to work is that it will not do that whole reload thing. It's going to... Form receiver... It's not you. I'm looking at the wrong one, aren't I? Am I? Company list... Item... Oh no. Okay, there's going to be 2 things that we need to do here. One is read the company ID that's currently set. That's frustrating. So let's just try... Okay, so what's going to go wrong here is that when you click on the thing, we're going to change the page, which is going to cause the page to refresh, and then you'll lose the... fact that you clicked on the radio button. So this is just basically a editable radio button. If I go in, sorry, not that. The display. Interesting. Yeah, so I'll have to work out whether or not it's checked at this point, probably. Might need to come back and sort this out a bit later, but that's okay. First of all, what we actually care about is going to be in here. So there's going to be an am I going slightly weird here? UL companies list. So companies list will be getting past basically something that listens to the event. Companies list, reload companies. Oh no. Oh. Am I thinking about this the wrong way? We've got the companies list. Okay, end goal here is just to work out if I can get the clicking on it to change the page to the right page. On change, we're setting the application context here, which we no longer do. So we will do a, we need the navigation. nav.push, root, home company. Company ID, is that even going to work? I suspect not. We're going to be company.company ID. .id. Still unhappy. Spawn isn't if async is not implemented. Okay, not I think an actual issue. There is I think a stupid way around this. And then I probably need to make sure that's not actually returning a value here. No. Async block that contains reference to captured variable, which then escapes closure body. So in that case, let's do let company ID equal company dot ID. So the UUID is copy, so I should be able to just get away with moving that in to here. Still no. Oh, nav as well. The thing is, I don't really care about the future completing, but you also have to I am sure I've seen something about async in closures on buttons, so let's have a look. Spawn. It is a block rather than a function, so I may have to move. Maybe we don't have to move anything. Spawn. I have my doubts. I think it's just unhappy about the way I've written it, isn't it? Possibly. God. Don't think we need any moves. Because it's, again, because the company ID is copy, you shouldn't need to move it, it should just go. Okay, return value. Okay, so I think it won't remain connected, but it does select. So it does select. We just need to work out a way of doing that, and that crashes, which is somewhat to be expected. Company ID not set. Company not set. Role list item. $27. Because we're not getting it from the context anymore. Do I want to pass it into everything though? No. Okay. I know where I'm going with this, so I'm not in a terrible position. What I'll do is I'll work out. I think what I'm probably going to do is still use the context, but I'll set it up from the root instead. And what'll be quite nice about that is once I've got company ID in context, or it could put the entire company into the context. Yeah, so what I might do then is rewrite the application context to take the entire company. Well, it does already take the entire company, but I can also put inside of it the role, and then when I'm setting the role and interview and stuff, I can check the IDs of the things that they belong to make sure that they're okay. So I'm in a good place for that, given that I've got 14 minutes to end on. What I will do, though, is just go back over these things. So test out the utility functions for reusable theming. So we kind of did this. I don't know where I fall on this still in terms of the end here. So let's do... We didn't actually do a loose theme. I'll ignore that, and I haven't worked out how to do remove Tailwind for now. So we didn't get to those two things. Is Tailwind the right thing for this application? I think the answer is yes, but only if I do it in ways that would make 891 angry by basically building up certain classes and using a lot of the stuff in sort of input.css here to sort of set things like, you know, this is what a submit button looks like and so forth. You can always override them later, so probably fine. So I probably will stick with it. It's quite nice to have those colors. I mean, let's be honest, it does look better now than it did. So yes, probably I will keep at it. And we got this whole thing about that. That's now different to that. So again, it might just be a case of reorganizing the way the application works. There we go. You can see me now. I'll probably do it. Yeah, I'll probably stick with it. I'm not blown away by it. It's fine. It's okay. I think this way of dealing with, I mean, this wasn't the topic of the video, but I think this different way of dealing with the Dioxys state by using the URL is probably a much better way of doing it, actually. And thank you very much, Evan, for the help there. Thank you both to 891 and who else was really helpful? I mean, everyone in the chat, Bongia and Vincent, everyone who helped with the Tailwind stuff, because that is very new to me. I will probably have to find out how to get Tailwind working correctly with Dioxys in IntelliJ. I will follow up on maybe on their Discord with they've got like a really cool little help place in the Discord that makes like a forum thing that I couldn't really find anyone else mentioning it, but I'll have another check there. Yeah, I think I feel good about all of this. So that leaves, what do I want to do next time? I think there's a few options. Doing the rest of the storage types is... Oh, sorry, I'm not showing my screen anymore. Doing the rest of the storage types is probably the most sensible thing, but it's probably not very interesting because we've kind of already covered it. So I might try and do that over the next week separately. Window control... I think, yeah, hi, Idani Idwan. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. That's very much a shortcoming for me, don't worry. I think it's worth learning. I'm not sure it works for every application. I can definitely see how it works for... Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it would work for big applications. I'm really curious on how, like... sorry, going off beast a little bit. If we go to like Tailwind, they talk about sort of who uses them. I think they've got like a showcase here. So like big companies use them. We've got like Shopify, ChatGPT uses it. I'm pretty sure GitHub is in here somewhere. You know, these are big projects that use it. I can't believe they style every single sort of element separately. It feels very redundant and silly, and I think that's probably where I'm going a bit wrong with it. I'll look more into it personally, and I'll probably, in the next stream, I might talk about any changes that happened over the week, like I did at the beginning of this one. Where was I? Sorry, let myself to get distracted. So yeah, storage type's probably a bit boring. Diving into window control is probably going to be quite complicated, but it might be worth doing. So it'll probably be one of these two next time. If I didn't get very far with the storage types, I'll probably do that, especially if I'm continuing on with the sort of building up the UI around that with the, you know, these sort of extra screens. Interview details is going to be a big one, I think. Questions shouldn't be too hard. Getting in sort of additional role details should be fine. We'll see. We'll see. So probably one of those two. But yeah, thank you everyone who stopped by. I really appreciate it. I think we got, yeah, surprisingly high viewership on this one, so I'm really happy. Oh, in other sort of like general Fears Quest news, the next Iris video is recorded already, and I have in fact started on the next chapter of the book as well. So I'm currently editing the next video, which is going to be on Threads, and the next chapter of the book is not on async. It's actually going to be on macros. Async is gonna be a big one. Throughout Iris, I've basically avoided using any crates, and it's almost impossible to not use crates when doing async await without sort of having to explain all of the core concepts. And like there are a number of sort of structures and concepts that you have to learn in order for async await to even work in native Rust. We can do it, and I think we'll get there, but we'll see how it goes. So that's going to be the final episode of Iris. So next one coming up, already recorded, Threads, starts on the macro chapters, then it will be unsafe if I can figure out something interesting to do with unsafe. The whole point of me doing unsafe is to make people not scared of doing unsafe. Like there are reasons as to why you would want to use unsafe Rust, and it's not as scary as I think people think that it is. And there are further ways that you can protect yourself when using it, which I think will be interesting to cover. And then the final video will be on async. And then I've got further ideas for the channel, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining. I hope everyone has a really good rest of their week. But yeah, I'll see you. Oh my goodness, am I going to say it? I'll see you next time.